Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and welcome to the 15th annual Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Oratorical Contest. We'd like to welcome you to the program. We're so happy to have you here. And we would like to start off, though, this oratorical contest not with an oration, but singing from three great students that have made an impact and impression on our city, but also at Capital University. So if you could welcome students Kara Brooks, James Woods, and Chelsea Sumner.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. March on! March on!
That was simply incredible. Once again, how about another round of applause for them getting up there? Thank you so much. I'm a little biased. I'm a Capital University graduate, so I know they've got some great people there doing some great things. So once again, we'd like to welcome everyone to our 15th annual City of Columbus Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Youth Oratorical Contest. And you know, this year's theme is Give Us the Ballot, a Hope for Change. You know, I'm Napoleon Bell, and I'm the Executive Director of the City of Columbus Community Relations Commission. And I, along with my co-host, will be guiding you today on this journey through Dr. King's dream as seen through the eyes of our young orators.
Thank you, Napoleon. It is an honor to be with each of you today. I am Tony Bell, and I'd like to thank my co-host for allowing me to join him today, and also thank the King Arts Complex for providing us with this great space for today's contest. How do you like it?
Yeah.
Today, we are here to celebrate the legacy and life of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Through his great work, we've seen astronomical strides in civil and human rights. His words have uplifted many and motivated others to look past differences and embrace diversity.
So speaking of a person who embraces diversity and embraces the city of Columbus, since taking office in 2000, our mayor, Mayor Michael B. Coleman, has built Columbus's reputation as one of the best cities in the nation by building stronger, safer neighborhoods, creating jobs, and maintaining a high quality of life. Mayor Coleman is the first African-American and longest-serving mayor in Columbus history, the third longest-serving mayor in the country, and the longest-serving African-American mayor among major U.S. cities. Hey, round of applause there. Yes. Yes. And in November of 2014, Mayor Coleman was honored as a power broker of the Ebony Power 100, Ebony Magazine's list of the most influential and intriguing African Americans. You know, you can make a compelling case that Columbus's mayor for the last 14 years, Michael Coleman, is the best big city mayor in the country, wrote Matt Bai in Yahoo News in December of 2014. Rather than rail against Republicans in the State House or the big banks that employ a lot of his residents, as some Washington Democrats like to do, Coleman seems to focus relentlessly on the kind of urban renewal that will make Columbus attractive to the next generation. So please put your hands together for our mayor, Mayor Michael B. Coleman.
Thank you very much, and it's so great to be here once again for the 15th annual. That goes all the way back to my second year in office, and to see all of you here today is a wonderful thing. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was the greatest orator possibly in human history, certainly of our time. And as we see these young folks take his words, it's important that they make it their own. I've always said that you don't know where you're going until you first understand from where you come from. And we cannot lose our history. And as I saw the movie Selma, how many of you have seen the movie Selma? Not enough. All of you need to see the movie Selma. You need to take your children to see the movie Selma. What it is a historical documentation of the trials and tribulations of African Americans in the South and across our country in the city of Selma, sort of the pinnacle of the civil rights movement led by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And so as you make these words your own, you know, knowing the words are great, making them part of who you are is even better. And then to stand up and speak before a crowd is a big deal. Because I can remember the very first time I got up to speak before a crowd, at the age of 7 or 9 years old, something like that. And I got up and looked at the crowd, and I couldn't find the words. And I stood up there silently with the teacher behind the curtain yelling out the words, "Michael, say this, say that." I finally got it out, but it was not the greatest experience in the world. And to know the courage it takes for these young folks to get up here and give a speech is the best learning experience they could ever have. It will have an impact on them for the rest of their life. And so I'm very proud of you, and I'm very proud of all our parents that have engaged our young people in such an important and learnful way. God bless you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mayor. And now I would like to bring up what I say our council member that is the administrative council member who is our liaison and who is our advocate for our office, Council Member Eileen Paley.
Thank you, Director Bell. I am Eileen Paley, and I serve you as a member of Columbus City Council. I welcome you all today for this wonderful event. This is just one more way that we recognize the incredible legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. I'm also very proud of you, young people, and your parents for your participation today. Public speaking, in fact, confident public speaking, is a skill that will serve you well, whatever you choose to do in the future. I speak from personal experience. I was a contestant in a contest where I had to recite the Gettysburg Address in sixth grade, I believe, and I still remember most of the Gettysburg Address to this day. As an attorney and a council member, I use that skill every day. And what a great theme that we have today. Give us the ballot, a hope for chance. Dr. Martin Luther King is famous for so many speeches. My favorite quote of his is this one: "If a man is called to be a street sweeper, he should sweep the street even as Michelangelo painted or Beethoven composed music or Shakespeare wrote poetry. He should sweep streets so well that all the hosts of heaven and earth will pause to say, 'Here lived a great street sweeper who did his job well.'" Thank you all for being here today and celebrating Dr. King's legacy in this way, and have a great day.
Thank you so much, Councilmember Paley. Now I'd like to bring up one of the newer council members who has not new to the city, but new as a council member, and I'd like to introduce him to all of you because he is one who's I'm sure is going to be around a long time and being able to make that impact here in the city of Columbus. I'd like to bring up Councilmember Shannon Hardin.
Good afternoon. Can you hear me? There we go, there we go. It is an honor to be here as a council member. I've attended the oratorical contest for the last years, but not as a council member, so it's really exciting to be here today in my new role. I want to thank the mayor as well. I served under Mayor Coleman for several years, and the mayor used to say, and still says, used to talk about the power of one. And it's the power of one individual to change the world. And I think that that's what we're here today about, a man who changed the world with his speech. And you guys are standing up here, and you guys are being that change. Dr. King once said that our lives begin to end the day that we become silent about things that matter. And we're living in a world today where there are a lot of things that matter that need people to stand up and to speak out. You guys are doing that, and you guys are doing it at a young age. I'm so proud. I know how scary it is as a new member of council to get up and speak in front of people. You guys have the courage to do that, but this is just the beginning of a courageous life for you guys, stepping up and standing up and speaking out on things that matter. So congratulations. I look forward to coming back and listening to several of you guys speak today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Councilmember Hardin. Now I'd like to bring up the person that actually is part of our commission. If you're not aware, our commission has 23 persons in that commission, and it's a very diverse commission. So I'd like to bring up the vice chair of our commission, who makes a lot of their decisions, but makes also an impact in multiple communities, and you might already know him, but our commissioner, our vice chair, Aaron Riley.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Director Bell. It gives me great pleasure to stand before you this morning, being a native of Memphis and unfortunately the city where King was assassinated, but certainly carrying on his legacy here in Columbus is special to me. And I just want to say welcome to the 15th Annual City of Columbus 2015 Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Oratorical Contest. We are here today to honor Dr. King. This year's theme is Give Us the Ballot, A Hope for Change. Dr. King had a vision that was a revolutionary for political change. During the Civil Rights Movement, voting rights activists in the South were subjected to various forms of mistreatment and violence. Knowing that these activities were an injustice to all citizens, Dr. King took action. In March of 1965, Dr. King and others marched from Selma, Alabama to Montgomery, Alabama. This protest was the beginning of the Voting Rights Act of 1965, where the federal government was empowered to oversee voter registration rights and elections. Excuse me, sorry, lost my place there. This was the beginning of the Voting Rights Act of 1965, where the federal government was empowered to oversee voter registration and elections and ban discriminatory literacy tests and expand voting rights for non-English speaking Americans. Students, what you are doing to continue Dr. King's revolution, you are our future. It is up to you to make change occur. I challenge you to accept the ballot and not only hope for change, but make change happen. Good luck to you all, and thank you.
Thank you so much, Vice Chair Riley of our Columbus Community Relations Commission. And thanks to all the speakers today that have taken the time to come out here because they understand and wanted to be a part of this and a part of this event and to express their thanks for all of our young people of getting engaged this fine day. So once again, thank you so much. As our way of honoring Dr. King, we have invited students grades kindergarten through 12 from schools all over Franklin County area to present original orations explaining what Dr. King's many accomplishments mean to them.
So today, those students in K through 12 are going to be participating in today's event. So in this room, we have the junior and senior divisions. Students, each of you should have a name badge. Yes, you do? All right. And you've got your name badge when you were registered. Students, take a look at your name badges. The badge should have your name. It should have a division number. And please make sure that your badge says either junior or senior division. You should be seated according to the number on your badges. Does everybody look at your neighbor and make sure that the person beside you has the next contiguous number? Super. We're all good. I thought so. So please, orators, when your name is called, you will come to the front of the stage. There is an X on the floor. There's that line right in front of the microphone. You'll stand on that line and make sure that when you speak, you don't hold on to the microphone and don't stand too close to it. It'll make an echo. And then we won't be able to understand you. So, orators, are you ready? Let's do that one more time. Orators, are you ready? Woo!
All right, today we have 4 divisions, primary, intermediate, junior, and senior competing in this contest. The top 3 winners in each division are eligible to compete at the statewide Dr. King Oratorical Contest in April of 2015. The awards presentation for today's contest will be this afternoon right here in the theater after the scores are tabulated. We have certificates for all of those who participate today, so please make sure you have your certificate before you leave, and for those who place, please be sure to get information about the statewide competition. Also, please make sure that you hang around too, because often we have the winners be a part of the Martin Luther King breakfast, which is on Monday morning, and then also part of our program in the evening to start that off. So be sure not to go anywhere. Check with me or Tony here. So we want to make sure of that.
All right, judges, we can't have a competition without judges, so let's introduce our wonderful judges. These people have graciously given us their time today. Please, everyone, hold your applause until I've introduced them all. And sitting at the table to my right, I'm at the CRC table, we have Candace Coleman. She's the supervisor at Mount Carmel East. She's the Church Partnerships and Community Benefits Ministry. Dr. James McDonald, he's a physician with Nationwide Children's Hospital and a professor at The Ohio State University. Ms. Sharon Reed, Assistant Vice President for Student Development and the Dean of Student Life at Ohio Dominican University. And Jeff Robinson, Director of Communications at the Board of Regents. Let's give them a round of applause. Thank you for your time, judges.
And also, a judge that is not down there, but she will be judging the orations up in the room, and that's going to be Karen Nolan Mitchell, and she's going to be upstairs in her room, so make sure you're nice to her too, because she'll be up there judging too. All right. Not only are we paying tribute to a man, though, who has had a significant effect on all of our lives, but we are providing an opportunity for these young students to hone a skill that, one day they could become that motivating speaker who was able to affect change just like Dr. King did. Wouldn't that be something? You guys, do I see that in you? Are you ready? All right, so Tony?
Well, Napoleon, you are absolutely right. The possibilities are endless with what these young people can do. They are absolutely endless. And with that said, I say let's get this show on the road. We're in for an exciting afternoon. Yes, a round of applause. Let's get this show on the road. Before we do that, we've got to go over some housekeeping rules. So the first one is we ask that you remain seated, you, the audience, remain seated while our orators are presenting. Please keep your talking to a minimum. I know you're going to say, that's my baby. Shh. Keep that absolutely, and it's absolutely necessary that you leave the room. Please do that between orations. Our main concern is to provide the best possible atmosphere for these students, these orators, and all of our contests, and all of our contestants. Please do not use video of any kind or audio recording equipment during the contestants' orations. We ask this in fairness to all of our contestants. One flash of the light, one click, one buzz, one beep during their orations could completely break their concentration, okay? All right, thank you. Thank you very much. Please also take a moment to turn off all cell phones. Even vibration mode can be heard, and it can be distracting to our young orators. We also ask that if you have small children, anybody have itty-bitties in here? No itty-bitties, but if you do, if an itty-bitty comes in, just make sure that if they become squirmy or a little vocal, please take them out of the room. Again, that one small distraction could make a world of difference in scoring of our contestants. We will also try to provide time between the contestants so that people can move in and out of the room without disturbing the other contestants. And finally, we ask that you not call out your student while they are being introduced. And you know what I mean, don't you? Okay, and if that's you, just hold it, and thank you for your cooperation. So, is everyone ready? All right.
Okay, listen well, sit as quietly as you can, and show respect to your fellow orators. When we call your name, come to the front. To be fair to all, you must use the microphone, but remember, don't touch it. Speak directly into the microphone and speak loudly enough for the judges to hear you. You want to introduce yourself by stating in complete sentences, Judge, ladies and gentlemen, my name is, and then I am so many years old, and I'm in such and such grade, and I attend the school that you attend. The title of my oration is such and such. Your time will begin when you state your oration title. Speaking of time, our timekeeper will begin the clock when you state your title. So when you state your title, that's when she will start the clock. The timekeeper will let you know when you have 1 minute left by ringing the bell, and then the bell will ring again when your time is up. Timekeeper, you've demonstrated the first bell. Let's go for the second. All right. All right, it's embedded in your memory. If you're not finished when you hear that second bell, you may complete your oration, but know that your time has expired and points will be deducted for going over time. Does everyone understand? Okay, great. So let's begin our contest. Junior contestants, are you ready? Come on, audience, let's cheer them on. Contestants, when your name is called, please move quickly and carefully to the front of the stage. Coaches, you may accompany your student to the front, but please be sure to stand stand to the side and provide prompts. 1 or 2 words, please, if they get stuck. But if that course won't, but of course that won't happen to any of you, right? Nope, you'll be just fine. Contestants, after you've completed your oration, please return to your seat. Remember that silence is golden, so let's be fair to all of our contestants and keep this room nice and quiet. All right, the junior division. Our first contestant is Riley Alar. Riley Alar, age 11, and she's from she's grade 6 and from the Columbus City Preparatory School for Girls.
Good afternoon. My name is Riley Aller. I am 11 years old in the 6th grade, and I go to Columbus City Preparatory School for Girls. And today I'm going to be telling you about proper treatment of animals. The title of my speech is Puppy Love. Animals have feelings like us, but if you hurt an animal physically, you hurt it mentally. That is even worse. We have animals, dogs, cats, elephants, ducks. They walk the earth, so let's protect them. From what? From us. Mend a bird's wing, help a deer that's been shot. There are some people that aim for the animals on the road. Why? I hope for proper treatment towards animals. I hope for this because animals are one of the best things that happen to the earth. These critters need help because of the people who mistreat them. Some people train bulldogs to fight, so now we're banning bulldogs. Don't ban the species. It's the owner's fault. If you blame the dog, it gets confused. If they could talk, they would say, "What did I do? My owner said this was right." And one man kept a bunch of wild animals in cages. He set them free into the city and then shot himself. All of the animals were shot and killed by police officers. He shouldn't have had them in the first place. This shouldn't happen. The Humane Society gives me hope because they prevent animals from being hurt and help the ones that are hurt. My neighbors found a cat that had all the symptoms of being poisoned. They could have just left it to die, but they didn't. I respect them for that. The animal shelter gives me hope because they help strays find new homes and they take animals from hurtful owners. These people dedicate their lives to the protection of animals, and that gives me hope. I hope to change people's feeling towards animals so people can love animals. So people can say, hey, these critters need help. And just by saying that, you're helping. Or you could just stop saying it and do it. Be the change you want to see in the world. This is something I feel strongly about. My dad works at the animal shelter, so it must run in the family. I'm the kind of person who gets sad if you kill a bug, let alone an animal. So think about this, and next time you look into an animal's eyes, look deeper. Animals have feelings. So what? We don't even care about others' feelings. Why animals? It's not because they can turn around and bite you in the butt, because they can. We put so much effort into politics and money, while some species of animals are going extinct. Help them.
Thank you, Riley. Our next contestant is Mabinti Bangura, age 13, in the 8th grade, from the Columbus City Preparatory School for Girls.
Hi, my name is Mabinti. Oh, let me. Okay. Hi, my name is Mabinti Bangura. I am 13 years old. I'm in the 8th grade, currently attending at Columbus City Preparatory School for Girls. And the oration that I will be presenting to you guys today is called Faith. As Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. quoted, faith is taking the first step even when you do not see the whole staircase. We need to have faith that we will make this world a better place. We need to have faith in order to make our everyday lives much, much better. Each and every one of us have apprehensions that go through our mind every day, that no matter how little or big it is, that may seem atrocious to us who are even fortunate enough to have food to put on our tables. Faith is the only thing that will take you from zero to hero. Faith will make you leap from the firm ground that you're standing on and enable you to fly to one's rescue, for one could sink into this feeble old sod called life. This is our time. This is our time for change. But you may be wondering, where do I start? Where can I possibly do that will make a change? What? When? Where? Life? Life is such a convoluted game, but you know it's okay because you have faith in what you do and what you're capable of doing. This is our time, and I mean it. We can end anything from world hunger to war to life-threatening diseases to bullying to abuse, violence, and so much more if we put forth the effort and have faith that we will accomplish with flying colors. No hate, says Dr. Martin Luther King. You should stick with love because hate is too great of a burden to bear. Hate, what is hate? Is hate a feeling of when you dislike someone or something? Or is hate a feeling of consciousness within yourself because you're afraid of other people passing your standardized level in life? Well, have you guys heard that Whitney Houston song called Greatest Love of All? Listen to the lyrics carefully and understand the true meaning behind this remarkable hit. She starts off saying, I believe the children are our future. I believe the children are our future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. Show them all the beauty that they possess inside. Give them a sense of pride to make it easier. Just the beginning itself probably possesses a whole generation's worth of intelligence. And the whole song itself is trying to pass on the message to spread our love to generations to come, but to not only them, but the people left out in the cold, who may have never experienced the feeling of feeling home and a feeling such as love. The coming of your joy, your laughter, your happiness, your seventh heaven, Your revival, your prosperity, pacification, and tranquility comes with the bold, hard leap of a real mankind, our guardian angel or angel sent from above, who will restore order back into our cool-hearted spirits. Thank you.
Our next orator is Michaela Bledsoe. Michaela is 13 years old in the 7th grade and attends Columbus City Preparatory School for Girls.
Judges, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Michaela Bledsoe. I'm 13 years of age and in the 7th grade at Columbus City Preparatory School for Girls. The title of my oratory is Winds of Change. Home. This word should bring back memories of a place where you used to or currently reside in, a place where happiness flourishes and sadness can strike at the drop of a pin. Either way, it made and still makes you feel safe. This is a place where daily life unfolds, be it tedious tasks like chores or fun and joyful memories like bonding with your family. Home is where you can be you in all your living glory. For me personally, the word home brings back memories of many, many different houses, each different in their own unique way. 8 cities, 7 schools, and quite a large handful of friendships later, here I stand before you. But let's face it, this is really just another stop on the road to my final overall destination, college and an amazing future. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. believed in looking for light amidst the dark tunnel that is life. For me, my hope, my rock, was my religion. Being a part of the Christian faith, you typically look to God in your rough times. And that's exactly what I did. I prayed that despite constantly being on the go, I would find the willpower and strength to remain a successful student and not just emotionally lose it. As I have learned, moving too much can result in a large number of social issues. This can include a plethora of things, like friendships going to waste because you have no idea how long a bond with somebody is going to last. Holes in your curriculum can also become plausible as schools teach at different paces, and with constant moves, you can miss vital lessons. Personally, I have attended 7 different schools in my 13 years of living, a new one each year, kindergarten and 1st grade exempt. This led to me being a tad socially awkward because, as I said before, social skills crumble with constant moves. People bullied me for being weird. Present day, I've blossomed into a young adolescent who realizes words can't hurt you physically. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. once said, "If you cannot fly, then run. If you cannot run, then walk. If you cannot walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, keep moving." This takes us back to where I addressed you have to find hope in your darkest times. No matter how difficult and impossible life seems, there's always a way to keep trying. Through thick and thin, bad and good. Life is a battlefield, and you are going to win that war, no matter what it takes. If those people out there who are starving and homeless on the streets can stay strong, we can stay strong. To quote another person, Audra May put the following lyrics in one of her songs titled "Forever Young." "May you have a strong foundation when the winds of changes shift." She is again representing the point I stated above. You've got to keep pushing. Find little things that let you express feelings. For me, writing a story about my struggles, shredding it and disposing of it helps me cope. Maybe you like painting or sports. Whatever it is, run with it, because that might just be your hope. That might be the thing that helps you let go of the past and look to the future, because after all, the past is just that, meant to be left behind. Find the good memories and keep looking forward. It's better that way. Thank you.
Our next orator is Aria Brent. Aria is 14 years old in the 8th grade, attending Columbus City Preparatory School for Girls.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, judges. My name is Aria Brent. I'm 14 years old. I'm in the 8th grade, and I'm currently attending the Columbus City Preparatory School for Girls. The title of my oration is Hope for Change in My Generation. If you go back in time, not even 20 years ago, things were far more different then than they are now. Nowadays, who you are as a person is defined by your shoe collection or how many followers you have on a social media site. Apparently, I'm lame because I don't have the latest phone out. Why is it that some of these kids' watches or chains are brighter than their futures? I'm here to explain how we can change these type of problems and how to get this generation, my generation, to start acting as one. So please, take off your beats or close that game or app that you may be playing for just a mere second and listen. When I go out somewhere, I always see or hear something that amazes me, whether it be the latest news about war or the latest gossip about who did what. I scroll down my Instagram timeline and I see ads or posters for this weekend's twerk party. Now, I'm no one to judge because I'm not a golden child or anywhere near perfect, but I can't help but scrunch up my nose and open my ears to the gossip and whispers in the hallways of these parties when some of the people hosting these parties are 12 or barely a teenager. Your teenage years are when you develop friendships that can last lifetimes and when you usually figure out who you are and what you want to do with your life. But how are you supposed to focus on yourself and developing into an adult when all you can worry about is that boy who swore he loved you or those new Jordans that come out in 3 days? Now a kid's idea of fun is staying inside all day on some game system, blowing the head off of an alien. When did going outside and being active become boring? Since I'm a part of this generation, you can guarantee that some of these habits have rubbed off on me, but I've never lost sight of what's important. At least not complete sight. I'm not gonna lie, it's the first thing I do when I wake up and the last thing I do before I lay my head to a pillow. I check my phone and all my social networks. To be honest, I'd much rather stay inside and use the lighting coming in from my window to take the perfect selfie instead of actually going outside and enjoying the beautiful day. Somehow, people's beauty or worth is defined by emojis and likes now. When did we start caring about people's opinions so much? Now for fun, we rate each other and give TBHs. God forbid no one comments on your latest picture. Somehow we've let comments made out of miscellaneous emoticons boost our self-esteem. It seems as though not just the youth of this generation, but the adults as well have been misguided by all the pretty lights and filters and background music of everything. It's said that about 30% of Columbus City school students don't graduate each year. I've seen more people get in line for new shoes at Foot Locker than I've seen get in line for their SATs or ACTs. We're losing ourselves. I've seen people who have known each other since birth break apart due to social rankings or because all of a sudden one of them wasn't cool enough for the other. Now when I walk home, all I see are mean mugs and dirty looks. What happened to the friendly smile and feel of comfort that a neighborhood should have? When did it become okay to beep and yell for a girl versus picking her up for a date? We're so self-absorbed and materialistic that we can't see what's genuinely important. Everyone wants to be something they're not. Everyone wants to be the next Kanye, and everyone wants to be the next Beyonce, and they get so caught up in trying to make themselves someone they're not, they lose sight of who they truly are. I mean, but how can you expect us to want to do well for ourselves so we can make something of ourselves when we see people with millions of dollars and being successful and famous for literally nothing? How can you expect a young lady to want to try her hardest in school so she can make something of herself when she has people like Kim Kardashian as her role model? We want Oprah-type money, but we don't want to work our butts off like Oprah did. Somehow, my generation has been fed this misconception that if you're pretty enough and have the right lighting, that you're a model, or if you can sing, that you'll automatically be signed to a record company. No, these are all lies. The very few people who have been discovered this way work to get there. Justin Bieber was singing on YouTube 2 years before Scooter Braun discovered him, and many more years of just singing in general before he even got a hit on YouTube. Hard work equals success, and contrary to what you may have heard, no, you can't work your way to a master's degree. I see a light that shines bright for our generation because behind all the madness there's so many intellectual and innovative kids. And I know that if kids like us can create cures for cancer and can start foundations for the less fortunate, I know you and I can make it through middle school and high school. We must come together as one and quit hating on each other and putting each other down. So she talked about you behind your back. You did the same to her. You just found out first. Help guide one another to the light of success, and within those footprints, I see hope for our generation.
Thank you, Aria. Our next orator is Therese Yankuba. Therese is 11 in the 6th grade and attends Columbus City Preparatory School for Girls.
Judges, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Therese Biancuba. I'm 11 years old and I'm in the 6th grade. I go to Columbus City Preparatory School for Girls in Mrs. Cyrus' class. The topic of my oration is equals. I hope that one day all genders will be treated the same. I hope that everyone, no matter your gender, will be treated as equals. I get hope from seeing the increasing number of women going after jobs that men usually have. I hope to change the people that think that one gender is more dominant than the other, because it is wrong. I hope that males and females are treated as equals. I know that there's a lot of people that follow the stereotype that males are more powerful than females, or that women are not strong enough to do things that are meant to be male-specific jobs. We all have a purpose. And if that purpose is to be an athlete or musician, no one can stop you. Women have to give each other hope. Okay. Women have to give each other hope. Young girls have to learn that you don't have to be intimidated by other people. What gives me hope is seeing the increasing number of women going after jobs that male usually have. What gives me hope is seeing powerful women being successful in life. Martin Luther King once said, "You must accept finite disappointment, but never accept infinite hope." I hope to change the minds of the people that think that one gender is more dominant than the other. So why is it that women can't be businesswomen or engineers, even rappers? We all have a purpose, and if that purpose is to be a mechanic or an athlete, no one can stop you. For males and females to be treated the same is what I hope for. If Martin Luther King were here at this day, I think he would agree. Everyone has to work together, hand in hand, to get through life. We can all make a change in this world if we are treated the same as equals. Thank you.
All right, our next contestant is Angel Ellis. She's age 11, also from Columbus City Preparatory School for Girls.
Good afternoon. My name is Angel Ellis. I'm a 6th grade student at Columbus City Preparatory School for Girls. I am 11 years old, and my title of my oration is Peace One Day. Enjoy. Hope is what gives us a better community. Imagine a world without any crimes. Wouldn't it be beautiful? You wouldn't have to lock your door at night, and you wouldn't have to worry about things being stolen. Hope is to wish for a favorable outcome. I hope for the world to have world peace. People do so many crimes to make people not safe. There's so many crimes you can get arrested for. It seems like people are so crazy, they don't even care what they do or what the effect would be. So I hope for the world to have better behavior, meaning world peace. I get hope because of an organization that tries to help world peace. This organization is called Peace One Day. They have hope, just like me, to have world peace. In 1999, Peace One Day was founded. World peace is a big hope to achieve, but this is also a goal to me. I hope to change crime. I know that it is very hard to turn crime into world peace, but this is what I hope to change. There's too many crimes I hear on the news. Every day I hear something has happened. Now the crimes are getting even worse and more pathetic. So since there's so much crime, I hope to change crime. So wouldn't the world be more beautiful without crimes? Hope is a wish for a favorable outcome. I wish we didn't have any crimes. In fact, this is what I hope for, world peace.
Thank you, Angel. Our next contestant is James Grant Williams. He's 12 years of age.
13.
15.
No, 13.
13. Just turned 13. Go ahead there, James.
Judges, ladies and gentlemen, my name is James Grant Williams, and I'm 13 years old and in the 6th grade. I attend Arts Impact Middle School. The topic of my oration is the Bill of Rights Act 50 years later. On March 25, 1965, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. led thousands to march from Selma to Montgomery, Alabama to campaign for voting rights. In response, President Johnson signed into federal law legislation stopping racial discrimination in voting. It is 50 years later, but voters face new restrictions. In 2013, our Supreme Court struck down most of the voting amendments, saying it was no longer necessary. I think the Supreme Court is wrong. We do not live in a post-racial age. The recent media to violence attention to violence towards minorities such as Trayvon Martin, Michael Brown, and Tamir Rice. The 12-year-old shot in Cleveland by police are proof that we are not post-racial. Once the Supreme Court changed the law, states immediately started rolling back voter protections. Now, voters must show more ID to prove their identity. This is to prevent a voter fraud problem that doesn't exist. Forms of ID have been limited to types that poor, elderly, and disabled people are less likely to have. Student IDs are no longer necessary at many voter places. Students are no longer allowed to register or to vote at their campuses. Voting hours are limited when mostly white middle class can vote. As a result, people were so upset with the government that in our last election, only 38% registered voters voted. I think this is wrong because all voting-age Americans should have the right to vote without any restrictions. I look forward to the day in 2020 when I could vote, but to the day when all Americans can vote without fear of a return to Jim Crow. I hope that Congress will pass laws soon that put people's rights to vote before states' rights. I hope that everyone here today will remember what Dr. King and so many set out to do in 1965 and will say, give us the ballot so we could be the hope for change. Thank you.
All right, James. Our next contestant is Leanna Greenlee. She's 14 years of age at Columbus City Preparatory School for Girls.
Judges, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Leanna Greenlee and I'm 14 years old. I attend Columbus City Preparatory School for Girls and I'm in the 8th grade. The topic of my oration is Give Us a Ballot, A Hope for Change, and the title of my speech is Immortal Words. When I listen to Give Us a Ballot, I am mostly impacted by Dr. King's conviction of freeing a people from racism, from oppression, from injustice. Yet he is so full of love for those who do the evil deeds. He has so much love for life, and that is what makes his words immortal. Dr. King's Give Us a Ballot speech has made me realize how many of my freedoms I truly take for granted. I mean, I realized this before, but this time it really hit home. My whole life I've never had to worry about my ability to vote because of my gender. That right has always been mine, but this wasn't always so. Back then, girls died for that kind of privilege. They fought for it. And I don't have to, and after hearing this speech, I've been thinking about lucky stars a lot more than I did before. In the African American search for leadership, they came up practically empty-handed. The executive branch gave them silence and apathy. The legislative branch put forth hypocrisy. The judicial branch was really the only piece of government that gave them support in their time of need. All they wanted was a smooth transition from a segregated to an integrated society, yet the political tone of the era did not match Dr. King's enthusiasm. In Dr. King's speech, he says, love your enemies, bless them that they curse you, pray for those who despitefully use you. Then and only then can you matriculate into the university of eternal life. This meaning that the only way you can pass through to eternal life is if you find it in your heart to love those who hurt you just as much as you love those who have shown you endless kindness. After Dr. King said this, he told a sea of listeners to go home and spread the faith, spread the love because yes, the universe is on our side in the struggle. And as King preached about his prevalent wish for equality, he made it known that it was a wish bigger than just a black man. King encouraged us to strive for a society where all men will live together as brothers and to seek an integration based on mutual respect. Dr. King is a powerful speaker. He has a way of opening up your mind and placing an advanced type of understanding inside. His voice is just as strong and swells with passion. The speech will forever perpetuate the feeling of love and determination and I believe his message will drive itself into the minds and souls of those who read it or listen to it without fail. Dr. King's words and the lengths at which he went to ensure equality, it will live on forever in you, me, and others. Thank you, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. I sincerely appreciate your message. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Liana. The next contestant up is Shayana Hinkle Moore. Did I say that right? I hope so.
Judges, ladies, and gentlemen, hello. My name is Shayana Hinklemore. I am 14 and in the 8th grade at Yorktown Middle School. The topic of my speech is learning from the past, hope for the future. We, today's youth, are the adults of tomorrow. We're the ones that will be in charge of this world, and we need to be prepared. You, the adults, are doing a pretty good job of leading the world, if I do say so myself, as we have come a mighty long way. But one day, you will have to pass the torch, and it is with assurance that I believe you will, number one, be clear and knowledgeable of the issues that are on the ballot and the impact they will have on us, both today and tomorrow. Number two, have conversations with the youths you have influence over of the reality of what can happen if you choose not to partake in the political process. Number three, remind them that we live in a beautiful democracy here in America, where voting is a privilege. It is an instrument for change, an instrument for hope. And number four, finally, adults, model responsible citizenship and practice what you preach. Vote in every election. And remember, once the ballots are counted, we don't get a second chance. Important decisions are made in this country through voting on the issues that are on the ballot. These issues can affect minorities, women, children, the disabled, the poor, the elderly, the retired, and the middle class. But on the same token, many groups just don't care about the people in need. There are opportunists who would like nothing better than to suppress voting with having voter ID requirements that largely affect people of color. Furthermore, limited voter registration drives, limited polling locations, longer lines, shorter hours, and voting locations in polling days all work to place burdens on people of color and people in minorities, making it much harder for them to vote, much like the old Jim Crow laws. These laws matter and must continue to be enforced. States with large minority populations are even passing restrictive voting laws that have previously been overturned by the Voter Registration Act of 1965. Back in Dr. King's day, the issue were the anti-lynching laws. These were laws that were enacted to put an end to the terrorizing of blacks in the South by intolerant societies who sought to take the law into their own hands. Today, the issue is police brutality. If every citizen is required to follow the law or suffer the consequences, then why should the police get their own set of rules and avoid punishment? How can it be that in 2014, a police officer clearly in the wrong, as in the recent Michael Brown case, was not prosecuted for killing an innocent, unarmed African-American teenager? Ladies and gentlemen, past and present mirror each other, as I see it. I recall reading the words of Dr. King's Give Us the Ballot speech. He said, "Give us the ballot, and we will transform the salient misdeeds of bloodthirsty mobs into the calculated good deeds of orderly citizens." As you can see, in both situations, there were masses and mobs of uncontrollable, angered people that were outraged by the injustices done to African Americans. I say, give us the ballots, and people of color will be satisfied that they matter. Continue to trample on civil rights, and civil unrest will also continue. Give us the ballot, and we can look forward to a future without police brutality. We will then, accordingly, and with a positive outcome, return to the peaceful, responsible, calculated citizens that Dr. King imagined. In closing, I'll leave you with this. Remember to vote in every election thoughtfully and encourage voting. Remember to learn from past efforts to discriminate and suppress voting when you are tired and you think to yourself, oh, my vote won't count anyway. And finally, look forward with hope for the future as I assure you that I will join you in the polls to cast my ballot November 5th, 2019. See you there.
Thank you so much. Okay, we're going to take just a quick second because we've had so many contestants come up, and I know sometimes we can get a little squirrely, so if you can, if you guys want to stand up for a moment, shake it off a little bit. Appreciate you, doing your thing there and listening intently. That's great. All right. Give the opportunity for members of the audience, if you have to go to the bathroom, please do that. All right. You good? All right. Sit down. We're going to keep on going here.
Our next orator is Jose Hundley. Jose is 13, the 8th grade, and attends Dominion Middle School.
Judges, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Jose Hundley. I am 13 years old and attend the 8th grade at Dominion Middle School here in Columbus. Today I'll be talking to you about police brutality. In 2014 alone, there were at least 100 cases of police brutality in the United States that was never justified in any way, shape, or form. Many people across the world are upset about the choices made by our court system. Because of this, people started protesting all across America, including cities like Washington, D.C., just like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. once did. On May 17, 1957, Dr. King delivered his speech, Give Us a Ballot, at the prayer pilgrimage for freedom, beginning to the civil rights movement in Washington, D.C. His speech promoted minorities to vote and led to the passing of the Voting Rights Act of 1965. Let's use the voting power that Dr. King used in ending police brutality. People deserve to trust the police in our cities. Police officers are supposed to protect us from heinous people and acts of violence. Instead, some are shooting and killing unarmed kids and adults. Most of us are outraged and have taken to the streets to help end police brutality, hoping to make a change in our laws, court systems, and that's it. Okay. In order to stop police brutality, we should do these 3 things. First, resume protesting. Whether or not we realize if we resume protesting, the government may want to change laws before more lives are lost. Second, we need to vote against unlawful treatment of our people. Most killings caused by the police are because of their weaponry, unnecessary strength, and abuse of authority. And finally, we need to make changes in our court system. Letting people go free when we have all the necessary evidence to prosecute them, in my opinion, is not right. It's not only the U.S. citizens that are criticizing the court system. The United Nations has also criticized us many times. And as we speak, people are traveling here to protest. With this many people protesting, the government should change laws before violence takes place, which in my opinion is not the correct way to solve a problem. As Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. once said, go out with that faith today. Go back to your homes in the Southland, to that faith with that faith today. Go back to Philadelphia, to Detroit, to New York, to Chicago with that faith today that the universe is on our side in this struggle. Stand up for your justice. As Dr. King expressed in his speech, no matter who you are or where you are, you can stand up for your justice. As Dr. King once did, we can too. Protest peacefully and no violence. I believe if we do all these things, we can put an end to police brutality in the United States. Thank you.
Thank you, Jose. Our next orator is Isabella Geronimo, in age 11, in the 6th grade, attending Columbus City Preparatory School for Girls.
Ladies, gentlemen, and judges, my name is Isabella Geronimo Lemus. I'm from Columbus City Preparatory School for Girls. I'm 11 years old, and my title speech is Hope for My Future. Imagine a day with having no worry in the world. No criminals, no murderers, no kidnappers. That would be the best day in the world for me. I wish that criminals didn't exist, but there are some bad people in this world. As I grow older, I wish there to be no more crimes, but that's never going to happen. There's a 1% chance out of 1,000 chances that we can stop crimes. Sometimes people kidnap, murder, or accuse because of jealousy, like in Connecticut. Look what happened to those innocent children at Sandy Hook Elementary. Their parents should have never suffered this loss. But gladly, we have police officers that protect us from harm. God is what gives me hope. He's the only one that knows what is really going to happen. I don't watch the news because of that same reason. When I see something bad, I get worried. I'm grateful that nothing bad has happened to me. I hope to change all the criminals in this world, but that's going to be hard and impossible. But if I had a choice of at least one day, and one day only, I would enjoy it the most I can. I would think you guys would too. Kidnapping, murdering, hurting others, that's going to get you to consequences. How can that make someone happy? There are some bad people in this world that do really bad things, but thankfully, I'm not going to be one of them. So, are you going to become a criminal, or are you going to follow a bright future by studying, trying hard, so you can get more opportunities in life? Thank you.
Thank you, Isabella. Our next orator is Faith Jolly, age 12, 7th grade, and attending Columbus City Preparatory School for Girls.
Judges, ladies, and gentlemen, my name is Faith Jolly, and I am 13 years old and a 7th grade student at the Columbus City Preparatory School for Girls. The topic of my oratory is change without hope. How? How can you have change without hope? To have the effort to get up every day and to be free is the hope of your mind. How? How can you build up hope to change in abundance? The clock of destiny is ticking out. Your destiny of hope begins with you and your hope of change. To be courageous and intelligent, you must strive to achieve your dreams. What level are you reaching for in life? There are things that need hope, then there are things that need change in order to accomplish goals in life. When your insecurities are starting to show, don't let them show, let it go. There's always that one person bringing down your self-esteem, tearing down your confidence, the dreams and miracles you believe in every day. Don't let the cloudy days block your sunny days that let your smile shine through. Well, Dr. Martin Luther King didn't change the South without hope and courage. But for with the ballad, he changed the legislative hall. So why should I have to change because somebody doesn't like me because of my sunflower or geek glasses or gesture of tallness? Change is never a bad thing, but it doesn't work without believing you can get to the next level. No one is the judge of me. I decide my placement and determination. For the most part, judge not that ye be not judged, Matthew 7:1 KJV. If you judge me, you're just judged on the type of person you are. What is the real relevance of judging? To please ourselves or to conquer our inner potential? Judging shouldn't be on your mind. Instead, think of something positive to say. Trouble isn't world peace exactly. Everybody has that day when there is an arrow shot into their wing and they become injured. Don't let the hate on that arrow change who you are as an individual, but take that hate and turn it into strength. Hold your head up high. One step from today, your hope will guide you. Just like Dr. Martin Luther King took one step daily, giving the ballot of change. He didn't change for the public, he changed a part of history. You are a part of that history. You are a hope of change. Thank you.
Thank you, Faith. Our next orator is Adeline Kerr. Adeline is 13 years old in the 8th grade and attends Dominion Middle School.
Judges, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Adeline Kerr, and I'm 14 years old in 8th grade at Dominion Middle School. I'm here to tell you about the environmental crisis that is our advancing world. The smell of fresh earth in the spring, starry country nights in the summer, the red leaves of fall that crunch underfoot, and the snow on bare winter trees remind us every day that the world is a beautiful place. But we're used to a certain lifestyle, one that includes the said beauty alongside our cars, computers, and smartphones. The problem is, the way we're living now can never last. The air is only getting smoggier, water pollution is only increasing, and forests are only shrinking. Fossil fuels are getting harder to find, and we're going to more extreme measures to get them. This cannot continue. We need to live in a way that is completely sustainable. At this rate, I am confident that we will destroy ourselves. Not in a million years, but soon, very possibly within our lifetimes. We're like a train, speeding forwards, barely aware of the broken bridge into the chasm of non-existence in our near future. If we pull the brake now, we can stop, just before we topple over the edge. But if we wait, it'll be too late. Efficient is not good enough, though it will buy us some valuable time to think of something better. Turning off the lights when you leave the room may slow the train down, but no matter how many people conserve the energy we have left, it will still run out eventually. The human race has bounced back from many tragedies before, led by intelligent and dedicated leaders. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., for example, persevered through centuries of ignorance-based cruelty. He protested and used his intelligence to sway public opinion. Give me the ballot and we'll vote to end fracking and other outlandish practices, progressing only through greed, and future generations shall prosper. My speech is merely his words in a different context. What we need now are young, intelligent minds like his from all over the world, focused on making sure the human race prevails. I fully support finding the cure for cancer, but shouldn't we be even more focused on preventing it? Cancer rates, I'm quite confident, will continue to soar because of all the cancer-causing ingredients we constantly pump into our air and water. I can see the entire population getting sicklier and sicklier, and no amount of healthcare can solve that. So much focus has been put into healthcare, but the issues are more connected than meets the eye. Because of this, I feel that our focus is in the wrong place. But we still have time to pull the brake. We have to. If you need proof that this is possible, just look at some of the advancements that have already been made, even though they haven't been perfected yet. Wind turbines and geothermal energy are great examples of the beginnings of how we can become completely sustainable and still keep a similar way of life to the one we're living now. Wind turbines harness kinetic energy that will never run out. Some people may not like the look of them, but get some artists to turn them into giant pinwheels, and what's not to like? This is what I mean. We need to think of other ways to do common things. We need environmentalists. We need intelligent scientists to engineer things that will purify what we've already polluted and make it so we never have to pollute again. We need to stop drilling for and burning fossil fuels now. I hope to start a movement, just like the civil rights movement MLK was in. I'm asking every one of you to go to college and invest your mind in helping the cause. Find a new form of totally renewable energy. Find a way to help clean acid rain. Help the movement, because the lives of future generations most definitely hang in the balance. I'm asking you, us all really, to be incredibly smart. We've come far enough. It's time to stop the train. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Our next contestant is Thomas Moretti Pacheco. Did I get that right? Terrace? All right.
Hello, judges, ladies, and gentlemen. My name is Tomas Moretti Pacheco. I am 13 years old, in the 8th grade, and attend Dominion Middle School. The title of my oration is Human Trafficking. When I was searching for a topic to do my speech about, I was very confused, but in the end I chose the subject of human trafficking because I realized the power, the reaction that it promoted within me. Whenever the subject arose, I was filled with a terrible fear. That's simply the raw intensity of what I felt whenever it was brought up. I was introduced to the reality of human trafficking in a very straightforward manner. It was not at all sugar-coated, but instead filled with horrible stories of young women taken from their families and used for commercial sex, and young men used for free labor. Worst of all, though, I realized that this was not only a major crime around the world, but a major crime in my state of Ohio. I was very disturbed to learn this. I'd always seen Ohio as a safe, pleasant state. It seemed so balanced, so safe and comforting. I had a lot of trust in the status quo system of government to protect us from major crime. To learn that this state was a place in which 1,000 people are trafficked annually, with studies indicating that up to 35% are entered into this awful industry as minors, was disturbing. These facts showed to me that human trafficking is not only a problem we still have to worry about in our modern world, but it's a big problem. Continuing my exploration, I turned my gaze to the whole wide world, and the statistics suddenly surged. In this world, there are approximately 21 million people forced into human trafficking, whether it's prostitution, slave labor, or any other form of this ugly sin that plagues our world. These trafficked people represent 0.3% of the world's population, and if that seems small, look at it this way. Let's say the average city has a population of 150,000 people. That means in the average city, at least 450 people are being trafficked. It's oppression. The same oppression that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. faced in his time, and now it's our turn. Just as he pleaded to the legislation of his time to allow his people to vote, I am asking the legislation of my time to take action against these criminals. Allow me to introduce you to the final thing I felt as I was first introduced to this unpleasant subject. It was a call to action. The first thing we need to do is to find a way to be proactive, find communities, groups, organizations, anything that helps to help victims of human trafficking or crack down on the crime itself and expose the people who have committed it. Second, if you see something, it is imperative that you say something. It can be very hard to see signs of human trafficking occurring in your community, so you have to keep alert. Third, give to the cause. Even if there's nothing else you think you can do, if there's no way you can help, there will always be a way that you can give a donation to a group that will help. And every time you give something, it makes a difference. Fourth, I must say that there has to be unity. The only way that will make any major change is if we work together. And last, I would like to address the leaders in our community, the people that we trust to create and enforce legislation. We need your help. We need you to make laws, plans, regulations to expose and punish these people that have for so long gotten away with their awful crimes. With the unity of the people and the power of the government, I believe that we can finally begin the crucial process of wiping away the lurid stain of human trafficking from our communities, from our country, and from the whole world. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Our next contestant is Moriario Obayemi. All right.
Good afternoon, judges, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mariah Obayemi. I am 14 years old, an 8th grade student at Columbus City Preparatory School for Girls. The title of my oration is A Hope for Change. Everyone has a vision to change the world. Your dream can be as big as Dr. Martin Luther King's moving the congregations, touching the lives of every single person in a massive crowd. Your dream can be as small as desiring to put up a street light or getting a recycling center on your street corner. No matter how big of an ambition or how small, it's still a change you hope to see. Give us the ballot. A hope for change is a statement that rings heavily in my ears. It reminds me of when I was a little girl, about the age of 8, and after watching little pageant shows, I would stand in front of my mirror, practice my walk, practice my speech. In my speech, I would always say the same thing. I wish for women to be as important as men, and I wish for more money. I was little at the time, so forgive me, but I didn't really understand what I was saying. Now that I'm a bit older and wiser, I understand that I was a smart little girl. I knew what I stood for. I knew from a young age that women in TV shows were often in the background, always playing the supportive roles. I knew I didn't just want to be in the background. I knew that I wanted to change the way women were viewed in society, and I knew that change had to start with me. Give us the ballot, a hope for change, so that I can see women get the same social rights as men. Give us the ballot, a hope for change, so that I can see the wage gaps between gender and classes get smaller. Give us the ballot, a hope for change, so that I don't see my brothers and sisters crying out for spare change. Give us the ballot, a hope for change, so that I can see my generation thrive. Give us the ballot, a hope for change, so that I don't see the next generation fall. Give us the ballot. And as you pass the ballot, remember that we are trying to change the world. Now, I raise a point by saying, give us the ballot so that I can see my generation thrive. Let's think on that for a second. This is my generation, the generation that I am growing up with, the generation in which my life is rooted. If I'm so deeply engrossed in this generation, and this generation is on the brink of falling, then don't you think that I am going to be falling with it. I would much rather be part of a generation that grows and thrives and has a bigger percentage of people rising and graduating than be in a generation associated with hip-hop's decline. I would much rather see my brothers and sisters looking up to presidents instead of looking up to jail ceilings. When I say give us the ballot, I'm saying give us the inspiration. I'm saying give us the hope that we so desperately need so we can tap into our full potentials. I'm saying give us a hope for change. In the words of Dr. King, we must accept finite disappointment, but never lose infinite hope. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Our next contestant is Andrew Pierce.
Okay. Judges, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Andrew Pierce II. I am 14 years old in the 8th grade at Dominion Middle School. The topic of my oration is let's use the ballot. W.E.B. Du Bois stated that the problem of the 20th century is the problem of the color line. Race affairs have plagued this nation ever since the Constitutional Convention, in which our founding fathers of our nation can see the foundation of this new government. Now, one of the main traits of this new government was that it would be a democracy, but the delegates faced a problem. In a democracy, everyone living in the country should have a voice or a right to express their voice in government. But the delegates didn't want this. The only people they wanted to have a voice in government were people that looked like them. When I say people that looked like them, I mean white American males aged 21 or older that own land. Was this fair, ladies and gentlemen? Was it fair to only give a select few the true influence in government when a document written less than 10 years prior states, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. I believe this code states that everyone is entitled to liberty, which means you are entitled to your right to express your opinion. Now, the topic of this oratorical contest is Give Us the Ballot. When Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. gave us the Give Us the Ballot speech in 1957, the Civil Rights Movement was just gaining steam. But let me use a different quote from a different speech from 6 years later that pushed Dr. King onto the national stage. I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they're no longer judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. That was 52 years ago. I ask you today, is Dr. King's dream a reality? Can a person be judged by the content of their character and not their skin color? I say no. As an example, let's say I walk up to the stage wearing a hooded sweatshirt with the hood over my head. Would I pose a danger to you? Would I look like a quote-unquote thug? Let's forget we are at the King's Arts Complex. Let's say we're on 17th Avenue and you see me walking down the street with the apparel I just described. Would I look dangerous? Would you let me help you with groceries? Would you let me tutor your child in geometry, a high school credit class I'm taking right now? But let's say we change the apparel. Let's say we put myself in a dress suit like I'm wearing right now. Let's say I'm walking down the same street. Do I still pose a threat to you? Do I look dangerous? These are the problems we are faced with right now. Do you still believe that Dr. King's dream is a reality? I introduce you to the cases of Trayvon Martin in Florida and Michael Brown in Ferguson, Missouri. Mr. Martin, a black teenage male who was gunned down by George Zimmerman for looking dangerous, for wearing the apparel I just described. Michael Brown, a teenage male living in Ferguson, Missouri, was shot 8 times and killed for posing a threat and jaywalking. 2 murders, and not one of the murderers got any punishment. Who's to say that I won't be the next one on the evening news? Shot and killed. Being a black male living in America, it is very hard for me to keep my sanity when I could be gunned down right outside. So I ask you today, is Dr. King's dream a reality? No. But can it be fixed? Yes. One way is through protests that show the government we do not care, or no, we do care for certain policies, but they should be changed. But protests can only get you so far. We need to put people in law and justice offices that empower them with the authority to change these policies that so anger the black community. Put them in offices that have descriptive and substantive representation. Descriptive representation, somebody that looks like me is in office. Substantive representation, someone that acts with my best interest in mind. So I suggest to change this oratorical contest. I cannot say give us the ballot when we already have the ballot. I can say let's use the ballot. Let's use the ballot and we can change the status quo. Let's use the ballot so we can change the 25% of African Americans that voted in the last election and change it to 100%. Let's use the ballot so we can stop killing our young black males. Let's use the ballot and change the way we are seen. So I'll leave you with this quote from Angela Davis. I am no longer accepting the things that I cannot change. I am changing the things that I cannot accept. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next contestant is Sydney Platt.
Judges, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Sydney Platt. I'm in the 6th grade at the Columbus Academy, and I'm 11 years old. My topic is The 21st Century Depends Upon Us.
I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation not judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. What does this mean? This statement means that we shall live in a world where no one, black or white, should be judged by their fellow companions. We should be judged on our morality and character. That is what Martin Luther King Jr. thought was best for the country, and we still haven't fulfilled his dream. Like Dr. King, I have a dream. I have a dream that everyone will be treated equally, no matter their race or religion. I know what you're thinking. Our schools and offices aren't segregated. I'm not racist. I believe people should be treated equally. Well, you know what? Reality check. Our beliefs won't bring back Eric Garner. Our thoughts won't bring back Michael Brown. Our feelings won't bring back Trayvon Martin. If we don't stand up to the fundamental problem, we are part of the problem. We need to take action, but not in a violent manner. We should exhibit civil disobedience, because in the words of Gandhi, an eye for an eye makes the whole world blind. Civilization, civilized, civilian, civil war, civility. What did these things have in common? A fight for people, a fight for freedom, a fight for humanity. Civil disobedience is not new. It's not fresh. It's not novel, original, or recent. Great thinkers of years ago have used civil disobedience as their weapons. Henry David Thoreau, a great transcendental thinker, was arrested for refusing to pay poll tax. Gandhi, a man with a huge heart for citizens in India, protested against tax, protested for Indian rights, and fasted for days on end to promote independence. Rosa Parks, an exhausted seamstress, stood up for what she believed in by sitting down. We can do the same thing as all of these people if we try. Adults aren't the only ones who can make a difference. Kids can do this too. But before we can make a global change, we need to change the fact that there's discrimination in our world. Kids are the most important part of this change because the world will be ours one day. In 11 years, we will be leaders, philosophers, and diplomats. However, before you sit back and put your feet up, thinking you're off the hook for 11 years, think again. We can do something now. For example, we can read the news, use our primary resources, seek out different perspectives before forming an opinion. Practice fairness by admitting to our mistakes, push ourselves to be in groups with different types of people, and be good role models for those who are younger than us. The 21st century depends upon us. You, your friends, and this whole audience can make a difference. Not by beliefs, not by thought, and not by feeling, but by physical action. I know we can make a difference. By doing this, we will become part of the solution and maybe even make Martin Luther King Jr.'s dream truly come true. Join me in becoming part of the solution.
Also, thank you so much. Also, one quick announcement. If you have a blue Malibu, it's license plate FWB7618, and it's parked in the parking lot, they need you to move it because they're going to be working on the parking lot and they don't want to hit your car. So please make sure if it is on there or that is your car, please just go out and adjust that. Our next contestant is, I believe it's India Shelton. India Shelton, please come on up.
Hello, my name is India Shelton. I am 13 years old. I am an 8th grader at Columbus City Preparatory School for Girls. The topic of my oration is a hope for change, and this is my speech entitled, "The Legacy is Real." I come forth to rebirth into a man's dream. The dream was not for cars, money, or for luck. All this man wanted was freedom from the invisible shackles of racial injustice. Not only that, but unlike the common man, he did not bear arms, but bore goodwill upon humanity. This man had a dream so impeccably remarkable that it can only be conveyed through speech. This man is Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. His hope for change was strong for a human being, and his legacy in the American dream will never be forgotten. His hopes to get the ballot for judicial rights for African Americans shaped America today and will forever. I stand before you as proof that he has shaped America. His hopes continue to shape my hope. I only have one. It is that all people, from the icy glaciers of Antarctica to the Arctic Circle, will be at peace. All the fighting between nations will cease to exist, and all will be free to pursue happiness if it is in their nature. But now in America, we take for granted the rights that Dr. King fought for. You have the ballot, but you still don't vote. You have the right to go to school, but you still drop out. The rights we fought decades for, we don't respect. I know the future for me is in my hands, and it begins with me learning from the past, thinking for now to plan for the future. The fight for equality is not over until all are free and can unite as one. Then and only then will we find the gift. The gift is worth more than the finest sample of gold. The gift is peace for the future. But for now, as I sit in the 21st century classroom, I think, while some are at home eating ice cream and watching romantic comedies because their boyfriend dumped them on Facebook, or others are quitting school to pursue the false popularity that exists in Instagram followers, I am sculpting my future. My mom may have not had the best environment growing up, but she made sure I had what I needed. Sure, I spend most of my time alone, and nobody wants to text me in class, but I have a family and many others that keep me alive. If I was to go right now, I don't want to be remembered on Facebook with the tribute, or on Instagram with a couple of sad comments from people who didn't even know I existed. As a matter of fact, I don't want to be remembered by the things I did. Like Dr. King, I want to be remembered by the person I was. So when this day is over, right before you lay down, walk over to your window. Look out at the world you're in. Don't look at the world's people and problems and say, God will fix it. Faith without work is dead. Faith without work, my fault. Faith without work is dead. Don't say I didn't cause it. Go change the world. Your future is not predetermined. If you made mistakes, remember, every saint has a past and every sinner has a future. Growing up, I wasn't the one that talked a lot. I didn't have many friends and sat mostly alone. When I really started to embrace Dr. King, I was in the 5th grade. He inspired me to speak. He removed the clamp of silence that had been placed upon me. If it weren't for him, I'd be scared to raise my hand in class, let alone speak. Many have inspired me, but Dr. King has inspired me the most. To think about the things my eyes have seen, my feet have walked on, or my mouth has said. You have not the foggiest idea what my life has been, but here is one thing to remember. Like Dr. King, this girl is capable of great things. I will lay the foundation for the future and be a part of a legacy that will go on into the end of time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, India. Our next orator is Akila Stewart. Akila is 11 years old in the 6th grade and attends Columbus City Preparatory School for Girls.
Hello, ladies, gentlemen, and judges. My name is Akila Stewart. I'm 11 years old. I'm in 6th grade, and I go to Columbus City Preparatory School for Girls. And today I'm going to be talking to you about the fight for women's rights. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. once said all men are created equal. Then why can't this stand for women too? Dr. King was almost fighting for the same situation as me, except he was fighting for the equal rights of all African Americans. Though through all his struggles, one thing kept him strong: hope. Dr. King and I both hope for equal rights, but I hope for equal rights for women everywhere. I get help from organizations and people raising awareness for women's rights. Last, I hope to change the way women are treated in society. I hope for equality and equal rights for women everywhere. I want equality and equal rights for women everywhere because women can be at the workplace, because women can be working as hard as a man and work the same number of hours, but most of the time, the man will get paid more. Also, because I also want equality and equal rights for women in Iraq, because most women in Iraq are not allowed to show their faces in public and can't even get education due to their gender. Another reason is because some people still consider women as objects instead of human beings. As a result, there has been an increase in human trafficking. Also, I hope for equality and equal rights for women, for stereotypes. Because a woman can go to a car dealership and the car dealers may try to give her a car in bad condition, thinking the woman does not know much about cars. This is why I hope for equality and equal rights for women everywhere. It gives me hope when I see organizations raising awareness for women's rights, because organizations sometimes spread awareness through social media, and there are millions of people on social media. I hope by spreading the word through social media, the more men and women will be encouraged to fight for women's rights. One organization that does a great job at spreading the word through social media is Awaja. Awaja is raising awareness about discrimination towards women and children on social media. It also gives me hope for organizations showing awareness by taking action. The American Bar Association, also known as ABA, is a great example of this. Unfortunately, ABA runs a mobile court through Eastern Europe, Congo, and Africa trying women's rights cases. I also hope to change the catcalls. Catcalls are sexist comments yelled at women as they walk around town. Yelling something such as, "Hey baby," and "keep my dinner warm" to a woman can be very offensive. This is what gives me hope. In the words of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., all men are created equal. Then why can't it stand for women too? I think it does, which is why I hope for equality and equal rights for women everywhere. Raising awareness gives me hope that in the future women will be treated as equals. Last, the way women are treated in society is what I hope to change. Thank you.
Thank you, Akila. Our next orator is Brianna Walker. Brianna is 13 years old, in the 7th grade, and attends the Columbus City Preparatory School for Girls.
Thank you. Judges, ladies, and gentlemen, my name is Brianna Walker. I am 13 years old, in the 7th grade, and currently attending Columbus City Preparatory School for Girls. The title of my oration is The 3 Best Things in Life. Over this past summer, my family took a trip to Atlanta, Georgia, the home of social change as well as the civil rights movement. The first thing that caught my eye was the number of young adults of all colors at the Ebenezer Baptist Church. If Atlanta is the home, Ebenezer is the cradle. During our walk around the church, I turned to my father and asked, "Why do so many people of color bring their children to the church?" The answer is the reason I stand before you today: passing the baton. At the time, I thought, that's it? Is he teaching me something, or was I just too young to understand? After a few minutes, I got that look on my face. And we all know that look. The one that your dog gets when they just don't understand what you're trying to say. I tilted my head, and with my best puppy dog eyes, I asked, "Passing the baton?" Now, I was told that as a baby in the Lord, we are given milk until such time we are ready for meat. Was that it? Did my father still see me as a baby? Have I not shown him in the past that I was a young lady? A short time later, I found myself standing in front of the altar, waiting for my mother to snap a picture or two. At that very moment, my father whispered in my ear, "Our part of the fight is over. I now pass the baton to you, the next generation that will bring about a new wave of social change." For the first time, my father was giving me meat, and at the moment I knew he also saw in me a hope for change. Over the next few minutes, please allow me to share with you my hopes for change. I hope for a time where I no longer have to sit down at the dinner table and hear about another young black male that has been shot by the police. I hope for a time that I can go onto the internet and not read about someone in a position of power talking poorly about the president or his children based on nothing more than the color of their skin. I hope that one day one of you sitting here in this room will stand up and say, "This is not right," and make it easier for the next person to say no. It is said that a person only needs 3 things to be truly happy in life: for someone to love, something to do, and something to hope for. But hope without work is only a wish. So all of my hopes for change start in just one place: the ballot box. Thomas Peterson was the first black man to vote under the 15th Amendment. That was in 1870. Today, some people say that more young people of color vote for the next American Idol than the President of the United States. They have taken your eyes off of the prize. I don't think this is what we wanted when we stated, "Give us the ballot, a hope for change." The only ballot we must take is the electoral ballot. The ballot is the new front of the battle for social change. The enemy has already gotten the jump on us. by using things like ID cards to vote, a direct shot at the poor and elderly. In states with thousands of eligible black voters, they can no longer present college IDs to vote, but a license for a concealed handgun is just fine. In southern states, they are taking away voting polls on bus routes, again, another shot at the poor. Early voting is being taken away, making it harder for working families to vote. In closing, I would like to say two things. First, to the brothers, I may be willing to follow, but first you have to show me you can lead. And to the ladies, remember, no well-behaved woman seldom made history. So, ladies and gentlemen, now it's my turn to whisper into your ear. It's time to watch me misbehave. Thank you.
Thank you, Brianna. Our next orator is Zora Whitfield. Zora is 13 in the 7th grade and attends the Columbus City Preparatory School for Girls.
Judges, ladies, and gentlemen, my name is Zora Whitfield. I am 13 years old and in the 7th grade at Columbus City Preparatory School for Girls. The title of my oration is, Words May Sting, but Silence Breaks the Heart. Have you ever wondered what makes superheroes or what makes legacy shimmer? Well, I have marveled all my life at the determination, gallantry, and passion that many great figures have had throughout the great storms of history. And if you think about it, superpowers are real. Not the fanciful fiction ones like super speed or laser vision, but the capability that each and every one of us has but may not have identified yet. There's a poem in one of Dr. King's speeches that I believe is the roadmap to becoming a hero. Truth forever on the scaffold, wrong forever on the throne, yet that scaffold sways the future, and behind the dim and known stands God within the shadow, keeping watch above his own. The first line, truth forever on the scaffold, suggests that the truth is always healing large, skyscraper-sized scars that we make or have. When Dr. King was younger, his father chose to hide how bad segregation was from his children. When Martin found out, it inspired him to make change. This summer, I fractured my ankle in 2 places, and to tell the truth, I'm glad I did. I know, call me crazy, but before I fractured my ankle, I guess I was pretty much blind to some of the pain people were going through. It was always me, my pains, my struggles, and my life. I didn't have as much respect for the hurt or for the ill, but now I can imagine some of the pain people are going through. There are some people who may never walk again, or people who know they have a limited time to live. There are people who hold emotional burdens on their shoulders like weights, holding them down from their true potentials. But the sad thing is that most people don't respect or notice. Or some people notice, but they pretend the issues don't exist because they're too painful to think about. When you notice something that has emotionally affected you, you need to hold on to it. That's what Dr. King did, and he marched proudly with his dream in his right pocket. He radiated his superpower through his speeches, the superpower of giving hope. And through his superpower, he gave us the inspiration to use the power of the ballot to make a difference, and we worry less the federal government will deny us basic rights. He gave us the inspiration to use the power of the ballot, and we no longer worry the federal government for passage of an anti-lynching law. He gave us the power of the ballot he gave us the inspiration to use the power of the ballot, and we place judges on the benches of the South who do justly and love mercy. And he gave us the inspiration to use the power of the ballot, and we have quietly and non-violently, without rancor or bitterness, implemented the Supreme Court decision of May 17, 1954. Dr. King's superpower created something amazing, and it's called change. Wrong forever on the throne means that the wrong decision is usually what people refer to first. During the Great March to Freedom, many people chose to ignore how bad segregation was. They chose deliberately to make themselves blind. There is a quote that states that words may sting, but silence breaks the heart. Yet that scaffold continues to sway the future, giving us all hope, though we must choose to use the hope to make change. Now we are back to the core question. What makes superheroes? How can I make my legacy shimmer? Well, first you need to find your cause, like mine, and seeking to become more sensitive to some of the pain people are going through. Then you need to find a way within yourself to change it. Now whenever I see a person with pain, I make sure I don't miss the opportunity to give them a smile or say hello. I try to create a ray of sunshine in their day. To make your legacy shimmer, you don't have to do something that will make you remembered by the entire world, but sometimes the small differences are the ones that matter most. Then you can create bigger change through the small differences you make. And behind the dim unknown stands God in the shadow, keeping watch above his own. After you have found your superpower, God will help you create bigger, will help you fix the world. Will help You can learn to change the world or help being changed by it, or help get changed by it. Now I encourage you to go become superheroes, find your superpower, and go forth on a mission to change the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Zora. Our next orator is Katie Willis. Katie is 13 years old, in the 8th grade, and attends Dominion Middle School.
Judges, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Katie Willis, and I'm 13 years old. I'm in the 8th grade, and I go to Dominion Middle School. My topic is on marriage equality. Can you imagine living in a world where you can't love who you want to love? Sounds like a crime against human nature, doesn't it? Well, no need to imagine. Just open your eyes. Open your eyes to see the hurt being inflicted on the men and women of the LGBT community. Open your eyes to see the words of your Bible being used to force hate onto others. Open your eyes to see the pain. Just open your eyes, everyone. Everyone has lost sight of the big picture: love, hope, peace, joy, and life. These are all just tiny factors that make up a big whole of our lives. But what happens when someone uses their bigotry to bring down the spirit of that young man or woman that's just trying to find a way to feel accepted? Their love would be secret, broken. Their hope would be lost. They could never find peace. Their joy would be erased by the haunting words that escaped from the lips of another. Their life would be shattered. Therefore, life would be a war. A war to live, a war to breathe, a war to belong. Depression and many other mental disorders can come from these daunting thoughts and actions of community in regards to someone's life choices. We can't allow this problem to continue on its path of destruction. Stop the ignorance and allow everyone to be happy. A very wise man named Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. once said in his "I Have a Dream" speech, "I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. Equality, that's all we're looking for, a safe place to love and feel accepted. There is one mere difference between a gay and a straight man. This mere difference can cause others to believe that the straight man is better or more of a man of God. This thought I could not fully wrap my head around because it's only the thought of an ignorant, narrow-minded person that won't allow anything to be different or unique, just like every single vibrant color of the rainbow. Most people wouldn't understand what this lifestyle is like, so I'll put it in a way where everyone may finally get a glimpse of life through the person of the LGBT community. Okay, imagine a world where everyone loved cats and hated dogs. But as you grew older, you start to realize you'd much rather have a cat opposed to a dog. Not a big deal, right? Wrong. People will start to cut you out of their lives, you can be exiled from your church, your parents could disown you, and you can lose many friends. Sounds a bit ridiculous, doesn't it? Childish? Well, this is exactly how it is for someone that's gay, lesbian, bisexual, or transgender. There is no reason for the cruel treatment of our community members and friends. They're just like the rest of us. And to the people who are a part of the LGBT community, I know what you're going through. And I want you to know that I'm proud. I'm proud that you're strong enough to love yourself for who you are. I'm proud that you can push through the agonizing words of your peers. I'm proud that you are still searching for a change so this imaginary closet that we live in may finally disappear. I'm proud that you still rally in the streets and in front of churches just to make your presence known. I am proud that you are still striving and searching for equality so that we all may finally be happy. And I'm also very proud that some parts of our country have noticed us as people and allowed us to get married in their state. If we continue this fight, our marriage rights will be available everywhere. No, this task won't be easy, but I encourage every single one of you to join this fight. One person could make a difference. One person can change everything. Wouldn't you want to be the person that makes a positive impact on someone's life? Join the fight. Become an ally. It's the greatest decision you could ever make.
Thank you, Katie. All right, let's have another round for our junior contestants. All right, so those scoring sheets are working from the judges, and let us now go for our senior contestant. Our senior contestant is Ayobami Balagun. Ayobami is 15 years old in the 11th grade and attends Eastmoor Academy High School.
Good afternoon. My name is Ivan Berlogan, and I am 15 years old, and I attend Eastmoor Academy, and I'm also a junior. Okay. My topic is about the objectification of women in our society. You throw like a girl. You run like a girl. You hit like a girl. You are such a little. These are just a couple of insults out there that portray females' characteristics as negative qualities. Philosopher Ayn Rand once said, "Individual rights is not subject to a public vote. The majority has no right to vote away the rights of a minority. The political functions of rights is precisely to protect minorities from oppression by the majority. And the smallest minority on earth is the individual." When Dr. King delivered his I Had a Dream speech, he exclaimed that when we let freedom ring, when we let it ring from every village and every hamlet, from every state and every city, we will be able to speak the day when all of God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old Negro spirit. The question for me, however, was, does this dream include the plight of women? Because for many centuries, women have been viewed as secondary to men, in many ways just objects of their affection. Many men value women as property and want them to be seen and not heard. When I was a little girl, whenever an adult would ask me what I wanted to be in the future, I would always say, I want to be a lawyer, a doctor, supermodel, the president of Nigeria, a princess, all at the same time. I wanted to rule the world. The most interesting part about the responses I got is that many of the women I talked to about my dreams will always suggest that I hold it back because the thing that defined me the most as a successful and fulfilled woman is being married with kids. Now, as a teenager, my mother wants me to learn how to cook, not because it's an essential and basic life skill, but because if I can't cook, I can't get a husband, and without getting a husband, I'm a failure in life. And no matter how successful my career is, I am still a failure. This idea perplexes me because why is it that women who are supposed to support and uplift me in being an independent woman myself telling me to restrain myself so I don't threaten the other gender? Even with our progressive beliefs in today's society, women still have to face and challenge a social enigma. We are expected to be strong, career-focused, and successful, but not too much because, God forbid, if we get too successful, the men might feel emasculated. When a woman is opinionated and assertive, she's automatically considered to be bossy, or the other word, by her peers. But when a man has the same characteristic, he is a boss. No, he is a man. While trying to juggle our professional lives, women are also expected to be sexually desirable to men. We're bombarded every day through media on how to balance being sexy but professional women. Feminism is the belief that men and women should have equal rights and opportunities. Contrary to popular beliefs, feminists are not just a bunch of naked women who run around screaming injustice at everything, hate makeup, fashion, and everything mainstream, because I am a feminist. We should all be feminists, men and women, because all of us should believe in equality among genders. Women should be able to develop into their own person without the social pressures of being a lady or have to live up to a standard. Young girls should be raised to view themselves as equal to boys, to believe that they could live a fulfilled life if they decide whether or not they want to be married. Young boys should be raised to respect girls, not as a lesser being, but an equal one with just as much strengths and weaknesses as they have. As women, we should be able to dress and look however we want, not for the reason of wanting to appear attractive to men, but because that is what makes us happy. We need to stop calling names that demeans women and our unique qualities. Overall, as a society, I think we should stop categorizing women because this creates a minority among a minority, and instead of bringing us together as one, it turns us into individuals. In the upcoming election in 2016, by giving us the ballot and electing our first female president, then there is a hope for change. Thank you.
Okay. Now, at this time, if I could have all of our contestants stand, if you would. And if I could have our instrument, give them a round of applause for their work. Now you can sit down. All right. Yes, thank you so much. You know, that was some great orations, and you know, I was looking forward to those. And we have, as you know, the primary and intermediate division was doing their orations over in the other room. So at this time, we have accomplished what we needed to do here. The judges over there have a big task ahead of them, or they've actually, so now we're going to tabulate them. So let's thank the judges, all right, who are here doing so much work. So their scores are going to go upstairs and be tabulated. And while they're doing that, we do have some snacks for our young people. So if you and the parents would like to go over to the Nichols Auditorium, which is out the door, and you can also go out this door, and then down around, you can get some snacks. And it'll probably be about 15 or so minutes, 20 minutes probably, to do the tabulations. We will make the announcement over in that room that we're going to that the tabulations are ready, and then everyone will come back into this room. So we'll have both the primary, intermediate, juniors, and seniors in this room for the final announcements of the awards. So we'll see you in about 15 minutes or so, probably 20 minutes. Again,